let us now look into one more problem related to transportation. The problem is there in front of you on the screen. It says, find the optimal solution for the following transportation problem. You have 4 factories and you have 3 warehouses given, and the cost of the transporting the goods from factories to warehouse is given like this, which is highlighted in front of you, and the supply from each factory is 5, 8, 7 and 14. Similarly, the demand at each warehouse is 7, 9, 18. Right? Now the total supply that comes out to be is 20 plus 14, 34, and the total demand is 7 plus 9, 16 plus 18, 34. Now since supply and demand are same, this is called as balanced transportation problem. Now the question is only to find the optimal solution, right? Now when you have such type of questions, or such type of questions are given to you, it is total liberty for you to find out IBFS through any methodology. It can be Northwest method, least cost, or Vogel's approximation method, because by and large in the transportation problems, these are the 3 methods which we use to obtain the IBFS. So since nothing is given, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Northwest method to find the IBFS for this particular problem, right? Now when I use Northwest method to find the IBFS for this problem, this is how I get the allocation. Actually, I start from this particular cell and I'll allocate as much as possible. So I allocate 5. Since all of you are aware how Northwest method works, this is the allocation I get, and the IBFS is what I get is 102, right? So this is the IBFS that I get for this particular transportation problem. Now what I do is I proceed for optimality. Now when I proceed for optimality, I basically adopt the Modi method, that is modified distribution method, wherein I find the values of Ui and Vj. Now this is the matrix. The integer numbers written on the top left side, they are the cost associated with each cell, and the dots or the bullets are those cells where allocation is made. That is, we are getting this from this particular matrix. Now these bullets are those cells where allocation is made. Now what I am going to do is I am going to consider one UI as 0. Now the second row is having 2 allocations. The third row is having 2 allocations. So I'll just break the tie arbitrarily. And let us say I have the second row as 0. Okay. So once I get second row UI as 0, I get this particular column as 3. I also get this particular column also as 3. Okay. And then from here, from I have this 3, I have this 2. So I will get this one as -1. I have this 3, I have this 4. So I'll get this as 1. Okay. And since I have this 1 and this 6, this 7, so I will get this as 6. And since I have this 6 and this 2, okay, this one, so I will get this UI as -4. Okay. Now this is my UI and VJ calculation. Now what I do is I calculate the Dij for the cell evaluation matrix, right? And you all know that Dij is given by the formula like this. I have Dij is equal to Cij minus of Ui plus Vj. So this is the formula for my Dij. Now Dij is calculated for all those cells where allocation is not made. Okay. So if I go with this particular cell, I have 3 plus of -1, that is 3 minus 1 is 2, and then 7 minus 2, I'll get it as 5. Okay. So this is my Dij for this particular matrix. So I just have a green color. So that is my Dij. Similarly, for this, I have this 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So 4 minus 5 is minus 1. So that is my Dij for this particular cell. Similarly, this will be minus 5 for this cell. This will be 1. Similarly, this will be 2 and this will be 7. Okay, so this is what I get my Dij. So all the integer numbers which you see in front of your screen on the green color, they are called as Dij. Now we know very well that in the cell evaluation matrix, if one of the cell is negative, the solution under test is not optimal. And hence what we do is we proceed for optimality. Now how do we proceed for optimality? From the largest negative, we draw a loop wherein the corners of the loop are those cells where allocation is made. So what I do is my largest negative entry is this particular cell, that is second row, third column. From there I am going to draw a loop. So I come to this particular place. From there I will go to this particular place. Now when I turn here, right now when I turn here, this is a cell where allocation is made. So I come here and I take a turn here. So this is also a cell where allocation is made. So I from here I go to the upper cell. Now here I am going to take a right turn because again it is the cell where allocation is made, and then I come back and I stop here. Now this is how my loop actually looks like. Now, once I have a loop, now I will mark the corners of the loop with alternate plus and minus. So the loop where it started, that is where you have a largest negative entry, that is minus 5, I will have plus theta over there, and then I come down, right? And this particular cell is the corner of the loop. I will mark minus theta, then this will be plus theta, and this will be minus theta, right? So this is how I complete my loop by marking plus and minus theta alternatively. Now from the cells where you have minus theta, that is one is this one and another one is this one, right? Now if you look back at your allocation in the previous step, right? Now this is one cell where theta is marked as negative, the allocation is 4, and this is another cell where theta is marked as negative, where allocation is 6, right? And out of these two, right, the minimum is 4, right? So my theta will be minimum of actually 4 comma 6, and that will be equal to 4, right? So actually speaking, my value of theta is basically coming from the minimum value of the negative theta, right? So now theta is equal to 4. Now what you are going to do with this theta is you are going to add this theta in this particular cell, right, with respect to allocation. This in this cell you are going to subtract theta, here you add, and here you are going to subtract. And then these two cells, the allocation you are not going to change, and this particular cell also you are not going to change the allocation. So I am going to get the new set of allocations by adding and subtracting theta in the respective cells. And hence, my next feasible solution looks like this. So this is what it is. I had some allocation here. This particular cell I didn't had allocation, correct? So I added 4 here, and I had an allocation of 4 here. But since theta was 4, now this particular cell has got no allocation, right? Now this is my revised allocation for the transportation problem. Now even here you see the total number of allocations is equal to 6, which is m plus n minus 1, and hence this is actually a non-degenerate transportation problem. And my next feasible solution comes out to be 82, right? So my first IBFS was actually 102, right? Which we found that it was not optimal. And then after performing the optimality test, we found the next feasible solution as 82. Now let us check whether the newly obtained feasible solution which is 82, is actually optimal or not. So we again proceed for optimality. So as usual, I am going to find the value of ui and vj. All the cells where allocation was made, I have put it as bullets, right? And then I'm going to calculate the value of ui and vj. Now here, if you look carefully, the second row has got 3 allocations, and hence what I do is I will allocate 0 as ui to that particular row, right? Now with the help of this 0, I'm going to calculate the other values of ui and vj. So it's very easy for me to calculate 3 vjs because I have 3 allocations here. So it will directly help me to put it as 3, 3 and 1. Okay, so these are the 3 values of vj, right? That is because we know that cij should be equal to ui plus vj. So since I have 3 here, so this is already 0, so this becomes 3. And then I'm going to calculate the other values of ui. So I have 3 here, I have 2 here, so this becomes minus 1. So I have 3 here, this is 4 here, so this becomes 1. So I have 1 here, I have 2 here, this becomes 1. Please understand, once again I reiterate, the values of ui and vj are calculated keeping the cost of the allocated cells in mind. I repeat, the values of ui and vj are calculated by keeping the cost of the allocated cells in mind. Now, for all unallocated cells, I am going to find out the value of dij. That is this one, right? So as usual, the values of dij I am going to write in, or rather I am going to highlight in green color. Okay, so let me find out the value of dij here, right? So this is 3 and this is minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2 and 7 minus 2, this will be 5. Similarly, this is 1 minus 1 is 0. 4 minus 4 is actually 0. I'll get it 0 here. Then come to this cell. 3 minus 1, 3 plus 1 is 4. 5 minus 4 is actually 1. Then I come here. 1 plus 1 is 2. 7 minus 2 is actually 5. Then I come here. 3 plus 1 is 4. 6 minus 4 is actually 2. And this cell, right, 3 plus 1 is 4. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So this is my new values of dij. And again you observe all the integer numbers that are written in green color, right? One of the entry is minus 3, right? So one of the entries minus 3 in the cell evaluation matrix means this particular solution, right? This particular feasible solution called as 82 is again not optimal, and hence we proceed for optimality once again. Got it? We again proceed for optimality. Now again we'll end up drawing the loop, right? Now the loop will start from the largest negative entry, that is minus 3, right? And I'm going to draw the loop starting from minus 3, and then I will take the loop up to this particular place, and then I'm going to take a right turn. I'm going to come to this place, right? And from here I'm going to take a down because this is the cell where allocation is made. So I come all the way from here to the last row, last column. Okay, now this I'm going to take a left turn because this is the cell where allocation is made, and hence I have my last journey of the loop, and I come back to the parent cell where I have started the loop. You know, this is the place where I started the loop. Now I'm going to mark this as alternate plus or minus theta. So this is the place where I started the loop. So this will be plus theta, this will be minus theta, this will be plus theta once again, and this will be minus theta. So this cell and this cell is what is actually negative theta, and the allocation in these two cells are 14 and 2. Okay, the allocations in these two cells are 14 and 2, and hence what I am going to do is I am going to get the minimum value of theta. That means I am going to get the theta as minimum, right? Minimum of 2 and 14, and that will be 2, right? Now what I am going to do with this 2 is I am going to add 2 here, subtract 2 here, add 2 here, and again subtract 2 here. And then this allocation I am not going to touch. These three allocations will not be touched because addition and subtraction of theta is only done with respect to the corners of the loop. Okay. Now, once I add this theta and subtract theta from the respective cells, right, my next feasible solution works out to be like this. Right. Now, this is my next feasible allocation. Right. This is my next feasible allocation. Now, what happens here is, okay, so now this is my feasible allocation. Now here also you see that the total number of allocations is equal to 6, which is equal to m plus n minus 1. Now let me find out what is my next feasible solution. Actually, this is the next feasible allocation, right? Let me see what is my next feasible solution. And my next feasible solution comes out to be 76. Okay, so from 102, actually I moved to 82, and from 82 I have moved to 76, right? Now 76 happens to be the latest obtained feasible solution. Now let me check whether this particular feasible solution is optimal or not. Okay, so again I have to proceed for optimality. So as usual I will calculate the values of ui and vj, correct? And then I'm going to calculate for dij, right? So what I'm going to do is, now here I have the second row with 2 allocations and fourth row with 2 allocations. I'll end up breaking the tie arbitrarily, and what I do is I just give ui for second row as 0. Okay, ui for second row as 0. From this I calculate this one. So this will be 3 for me, this will be 1 for me, right? And then similarly I calculate the value of ui and vj. Since you are already aware how to calculate ui and vj, I just land up writing this I'll get as 1, this I'll get as 1, 1, and this also I'll get as 1. So I have the value of ui and vj. Now what I do is I calculate the values of dij for unallocated cells, right? So let me copy the green color, and then let me put that in the cells where allocation is not done. So so this is 3 plus 1 is 4, and this is 7, so 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay, then similarly after calculating I'll get 2 here, I get 2 here as well, here I get 3, here I get 5, and here I get 2. Okay, now you look at this particular cell. This is called as cell evaluation matrix, and the dij in the cell evaluation matrix, none of the cell in the cell evaluation matrix is negative, and hence the latest obtained feasible solution is optimal. And the optimal allocation is as follows, right? So you have this as the allocation, which is to the first row, first column, the allocation is 5. That means with respect to our original problem statement, factory F1 will ship 5 products to warehouse 1, and hence the allocation is F1 W1 is equal to 5. And similarly you have the remaining allocations, and the optimal transportation cost for this problem is 76.